Y'all have heard me say many, many times over the years, I'm a blessed man. Those blessings came from being born into a family who loved the outdoors, who hunted and fished, and taught me how to love God's creation and share in all things wild. This past June, my father, my mentor, and my most trusted friend was called home to be with the Lord. This man taught me so much about hunting and fishing, the outdoors, and life's lessons in general. I feel very honored and very privileged to be able to call him father and be very blessed to be born into the family that I was. I'd like to take this opportunity to take a trip down memory lane and dedicate this show to the memory of my father. Please join me in sharing some fond memories that I have of my most trusted friend, and I hope as we share those memories that it reminds you of some fond memories you have with your father as well. As Daddy used to say, boy, let's get this show on the road.
One of my father's main loves was trout fishing on a stream in the western part of Virginia.
Let's see what happens here.
In his younger days, before his health started slowing him down, it was one of his favorite things to do. And to say the least, he was very proficient at it.
All right, one on. One on. Oh, jump for me, baby.
This particular day, Dad and I were on a stream in southwestern Virginia shooting a little footage. Little did I know that it'd be the last time him and I ever shared a trout stream together.
See if I still remember how to do this. Come on here to Papa. Come on, come on. There you go. You both had it. Oh, yeah, I don't want to hurt you. Come on. A little bit close.
Papa later made the comment to me it had been many years since he'd been able to wade a stream, and he thought that maybe he'd forgotten how. This footage is proof that although it had been a long time, Papa hadn't lost his touch.
Got a good look at him? He's about 2 pound, pound and a half, 2 pound. There you go, buddy. He gone.
It didn't take him long to get baited up and back in the water to try his hand at fish number 2.
Get the bite. Missed it.
One thing that everybody that fished with Papa learned quick is never be behind him when he was getting a bite.
Ah, shoot. That's too far above, I think. Oh, he's on. He's on.
As hard as we tried, we never could make Papa understand to do his thing and let us do ours with the camera. He always wanted to make sure we knew what was going on.
Hey, pretty decent. All right, did you get him? I'm maybe you get up and do a tail walk for us. A little cold for that yet. Come on, baby.
You know, when it's all said and done, folks, I learned a whole lot about trout fishing from my father. But while we were out on the stream, learning about trout fishing, he actually taught me a whole lot more about life and the things a man should do and the things a man shouldn't do. And folks, it's those lessons that I'm the most grateful for.
Oh, he saw me. Maybe he saw Jerry. He's a fighter. Easy does it. I don't want to hurt you. I want to put you back. He's a pretty one. There you go. There you go. You will stay with me? Right here at my feet playing.
You hear Buck and I talk all the time on the show about take a young person, introduce them to the outdoors. It could be the experience of both your lifetimes. I'm thankful that my father did that. Nearly every time he went hunting, I was by his side. Whether it was squirrel hunting, deer hunting, turkey hunting in the fall, rabbit hunting with the beagles, fishing, it didn't matter. I was always by his side. He called me Pedro. He said, "Come on, Pedro, let's go." I implore you, if you're not taking somebody young or new and introducing them to the sport, or taking them with you and helping build memories, start tomorrow. The difference you can make in their life can be oh so real. Stick around, folks. We'll be back in just a moment. I remember Daddy telling me a story about hunting in East Virginia and almost mistaking a man for a turkey. I'll never forget him telling me that story. But most importantly, I'll never forget how scared he was when he told me that story years later. The lesson with that was, he said, "I come so close, son, to making a mistake that I couldn't fix." And the lesson was, always remember, when you pull that trigger, you can't ever bring that bullet back. What's done is done. Always be sure of your target. Folks, thanks for sharing the memories of my father with me. Let's get right back into the show.
First day of bow season, a couple years ago, Daddy and I were lucky enough to be able to spend the morning together in a tree stand. Many years ago, we almost lost my father, and after several procedures, including opening arteries, triple bypass surgery of his heart, and the kidney transplant, this particular year, Daddy was feeling better than he probably had in many, many before.
Little bug, Spike, you get him on film.
About 45 minutes after daylight, this young buck comes ambling down the path beside us, and as always, Daddy wants to make certain that the videographer, which in this case is me, his son, is definitely doing their job.
You want him?
About 10 years ago, like many of us do, Daddy started practicing quality deer management. 15 years ago, this little buck wouldn't have dared want to walk by Daddy with the tag that's in his pocket. Today, however, he has a free pass to amble on by as we enjoy the view. About this time, Daddy spots another deer coming down the path, and he thinks first glance that it's a doe, and he was ready to put some meat in the freezer.
Doe right there. That's a doe. A doe right here. That one right there is a Spike. Yeah, he is. It's two Spikes. I see him now. He sees us too.
What Papa first had believed to be a doe turned out to be a little spike buck. And even though we didn't see any deer afterwards, I still had a great morning, making some memories that I will always cherish being in the woods with my father. About 15 years ago, Papa developed a love for black bear and black bear hunting. He spent a lot of times in the mountains of Western Virginia, listening to the boys running with dogs, just loving to be part of the hunt. His health, however, would never allow him to travel in the mountains far enough to get to a tree for an opportunity to take one. A couple years ago, an opportunity arose for me to take Papa to Canada, up in Saskatchewan with Horns Whitetail Adventures, and see if I could help him fulfill his lifelong dream of killing a mature black bear. Let's jump into that footage now as Miss Stacy runs a camera and Papa sits in the stand waiting on the right bear. This was the closest Papa had ever come to a live black bear. To say he was excited was an understatement. Now, Papa knew from what the guides had told him and Stacy, there were definitely bigger bear in the area, and he passes on this little bear, waiting to see what'll come out next.
One of the neatest things that my father ever introduced me to is a hunting camp in Highland County, Virginia called Hard Luck Hollow. There, my father and a few other gentlemen spent 20 years of their life introducing me and a few other young bucks to the outdoors, taught us how to hunt, how to fish, how to be respectful of our neighbors, how to live life in harmony, and leave it better than you found it. This is my father's best buck ever, killed in Highland County, Virginia. Y'all stick around, folks. We got a lot more memories to share with you when we return. One of the lessons I learned early in life from my father is no matter how big a deer you get, how big a fish you catch, how quick you catch your limit, it was always sweeter fourfold to share it with somebody that you cared about. Folks, thank y'all for sharing with me today. Let's get right back into the show.
After the little bear departed, Daddy took a short nap, and Stacy managed to catch it on film, which is quite an accomplishment because Daddy didn't like to let anybody know that he ever went to sleep in a tree stand. A short while later, after awaking from his nap, Daddy catches movement in the brush. Turns out, it was another black bear, cautiously making its way into the bait. After getting a look at the bear, Daddy decides that if it comes back and he gets an opportunity for a shot, he's going to try and take it.
If he comes back again, I'm not going to give him much time.
One thing Daddy taught me early on in my hunting career is that, boy, we owe it to the animal out of respect to make a clean and effective and humane kill. This shot coming up, folks, is is a prime example of the way Daddy liked to do it. Not every son is blessed with an opportunity to help their father fulfill a lifelong dream. I'm grateful that I had the chance to give him the opportunity and that he was able to capitalize on it. Daddy, I love you so much. Thank you for everything you gave me.
Thank Horns Whitetail Adventures for the black bear I was able to come up and take. This is the first one I've ever killed person in my life.
Many times you've heard me say, always leave it better than you found it. I remember being in the woods with my father as a youngster and Daddy finding a pop can somebody else left. He'd pick it up and put it in his backpack. I said, Daddy, we didn't leave that there. He said, boy, that's not the point. If we don't pick it up, no one will. Always, no matter what, leave it better than you found it. Stick around, folks. We'll be back in just a moment. Well, folks, that's about all the time we have for today's show. I hope by sharing these memories with me, you'll understand a little bit better when I say I'm a blessed man. I want to take a minute and tell all you young people, if your father's still alive, you get the opportunity. No, make the opportunity. Go share some outdoor recreation time with him. If you don't like to hunt and fish, go play golf with him. Go watch a football game. Go watch a baseball game. It doesn't matter. Just go spend some time with him. Those people, and I know it happens to all of us, maybe you haven't spoke to your father for a long time. Pick up the phone, call him. Tell him you love him. I guarantee the time you spend with him, you won't regret. This guitar right here was the last guitar my father ever bought me. My father started me taking guitar lessons from a dear friend of his named Bob Campbell when I was 8 years old. My father loved to hear me play. Please indulge me as I play one last song for my father.
I'm seeing my father in me. I guess that's how it's meant to be. And I find him more and more like him each day. I notice I walk the way he walked. I notice I talk the way he talked. I'm starting to see my father in me. Yes, I'm happy to see my father in me.
Papa, I'm very proud to see
there's a whole lot of you in me.
I love you, Papa. I'll see you on the mountain.